We've all seen it, right? That iconic, deep red slice of cake with its brilliant white frosting. But what actually makes a red velvet cake velvet? Well, in this explainer, we're going to go way beyond the recipe card to really get into the science and the technique that makes a red velvet cake truly masterful. Okay, this is the big question, isn't it? And it's a totally fair one. You see the color, you taste that little hint of cocoa, and you think, okay, so it's a chocolate cake, but red. But that's not the whole story. In fact, it's not even the most important part of the story. This right here, this quote, nails it. The true identity of this cake, its soul really, is right there in the name. The velvet isn't about the color at all. It's all about that uniquely tender, moist, and super fine crumbed texture. So first things first, let's just separate the myth from the reality. Yeah, that iconic red color makes the cake instantly recognizable, but it's not what defines it as a red velvet. Yep, that's right. That vibrant red, it's purely for looks. It's a visual signature, nothing more. The food coloring itself adds absolutely zero flavor, which means you can add a ton of it or just a little. The real magic isn't in what you see, but what you feel when you take that first bite. Now, that perfect texture doesn't just happen by accident. It all starts with really careful preparation. In the culinary world, we call this mise en place, which just means having everything in its place before you even think about mixing. Now, these aren't just tedious little steps. Think of them as your insurance policy for a perfect cake. Lining the pan means no sticking, period. Sifting gets rid of any lumps, so you get a silky smooth batter. And adding eggs one by one, that helps them emulsify, to blend evenly with the fats, which is absolutely crucial for that signature moist texture. This might seem like such a small thing, but it is a game-changing pro technique. Constantly scraping down the bowl makes sure everything is perfectly mixed together. This one simple move prevents those dense, unmixed spots in your final cake and guarantees that consistent velvety crumb all the way from edge to edge. Okay, let's get to the heart of it. How do we actually get that signature velvet texture? It's not magic, it's chemistry, and it's a beautiful, delicious reaction. The entire light, airy, and tender crumb that defines a red velvet cake. It all comes down to one specific, totally intentional chemical reaction that happens right there in the batter. Let's break it down real quick. To get lift in a cake, you need a leavening agent. In this recipe, we use that classic combination of a base, our baking soda, and an acid. When those two meet in the batter, they create carbon dioxide gas. Seriously, just think of it like you're inflating thousands of tiny little balloons inside your cake. So here's exactly how it works in the recipe. We introduce two key acids, buttermilk and a little bit of white vinegar. As soon as these mix into the batter, they immediately react with the baking soda and start releasing all these tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide. Those bubbles get trapped, they force the cake to rise, and they create that incredibly fine, soft crumb. That is the velvet. And hey, here's a fantastic little tip for you. You do not need to make a special trip to the store if you're out of buttermilk. You can create the exact same acidic environment just by adding a splash of lemon juice or vinegar to regular milk. It's a super simple hack that makes sure you can still get that perfect chemical reaction. A red velvet cake is it's not complete with its classic companion, that tangy cream cheese frosting. And it's not just a sweet topping, it's a crucial part of the whole flavor profile, designed specifically to balance out the richness of the cake. Okay, listen up, because the type of cream cheese you choose is critical. It has to be the solid block-style kind. The spreadable cream cheese that comes in a tub has way too much moisture, and it will give you a runny, soupy frosting that just slides right off the cake. For that classic structure and texture, you need the block. No exceptions. Now, when it comes to how sweet this frosting should be, there's a really important guideline, a recommended maximum of 2 cups of powdered sugar. And the reason for this limit is all about balance. The frosting is meant to be tangy to cut through the buttery flavor of the cake. If you make it too sweet, you completely lose that essential contrast. So the pro move is to add the sugar slowly, tasting as you go, until you hit that perfect sweet spot where it's sweet enough but still has that signature cream cheese tang. So we have a perfect velvety cake and a balanced, tangy frosting. Now it's time for the final act, the assembly that creates that iconic look we all know and love. Patience is everything here. The cake has to be completely cool, otherwise that beautiful frosting is just gonna melt into a mess. Once it's cool, you slice it into layers, frost generously, and then, for that classic look, you take some of the cake scraps, crumble them up, and press them onto the sides. It not only looks gorgeous, but it's also a great little nod to that all-important velvet texture. So the next time you see a red velvet cake, you won't just see a red cake. You'll understand the science, that acid-base reaction creating that delicate crumb. You'll understand the artistry of a tangy frosting that provides the perfect balance. You now know the why behind the recipe. The only question left is, what are you going to bake next?